Hey guys, here we go into a video on Mr. Tom Yankello's um, boxing drill, and this was pulled from some pro fight from some time many years ago. Some guy pulled off this motion ish against some fighter who was 2 wins and 6 losses in his pro career. Okay. And this is what he came up with to attack that guy. We're going to watch that clip right now. Now, I don't want to bash on him or nothing. And his student is doing fantastic. But here's that guy. I can't remember his name already. And I can't remember who he's fighting. But it's very similar to what he's working on with his friend here. And what I want to point out, the guy in the blue trunks, this gentleman here, he's 2-6. So no wonder he can't defend himself, and he allows his opponent to transition and cross his line and set up 1, 2, 3, 4 attacks on him, and finally eats 1 attack. But he's able to cross his line 4 times, right, and make 4 weight transitions and still land a punch, and the guy has no way to defend himself. And what we're going to be talking about today is why this drill that he's teaching his student here has no place in boxing. No place in boxing at all, except as a training drill if you're having fun and you're just trying to challenge and stress your technique to improve, right, on transitioning your positions. But you would never, ever, ever use this in a fight. It's so impractical. And the reason that is because anytime you start on a line here and your opponent throws a punch to split your line and you slip to the front foot, you should be hitting them in the face. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. If your opponent is attacking you and you are able to slip to the front foot against a southpaw, or if you are a southpaw and they're orthodox and you slip to the front foot, you should absolutely be smashing them with a straight left hand or a straight right hand. And what we're going to look at is a few examples of this idea here with one of our favorite fighters ever, Manny Pacquiao, and his absolute demolition of Ricky Hatton. So what do you notice right off the bat? Ricky Hatton enters the line. He predicts that Manny Pacquiao is going to meet him on the line in this instant. He shoots a jab, and Manny Pacquiao slips to the front foot and lands a body shot. Okay? Watch. Very similar to what's going on here. He shoots the jab, and this guy slips. But this guy's not punching. Why is this guy not punching against someone who's 2-6, right? Again, the exact same thing that's going on in the drill. And he's landing a straight left hand to the body. And as we go through, Manny Pacquiao is going to continue to try to open Ricky Hatton up and force that same motion. So here he is shooting that jab, pulling his way to the back foot, and drawing that attack from Ricky Hatton. Again, Ricky Hatton trying to control the space between him and Pacquiao with a punch, making an error, getting stuck on the line, and eating that left hand as Manny Pacquiao crosses the line and lands it. Again, excellent. Going from the back foot, his opponent shoots a jab at him, he slips to the front foot and lands a knockout left hand. Again, there's no place in your drills for completely impractical motions and slipping to the front foot so that you can pivot to the back foot just so that you can cross the line again to land another punch. You're giving up an opportunity to land a punch here. You're giving up an opportunity to land a punch here. You're giving up an opportunity to land a punch here. And then finally landing a punch at this zone. Now, we're going to take a look at a few more of Manny Pacquiao's left hands, or Marquez's right hand in this case, as Marquez slips to the front foot, getting just to the outside of Manny Pacquiao's right hook, and again lands a straight right hand, a looping right hand. In any case, the motions of slipping to the front foot being the most important idea there, he's still able to land that shot. Again, it's a very practical use of that slip, being able to get to the front foot there. Now, once you're on the front foot, notice in the training video, it says, oh, now you're going to pivot around your opponent, right? to the back foot. Manny Pacquiao says, do I really want to? I maybe want to just land a right hook instead, right? Because you're on that front foot, again, just like the clip. But instead of throwing a right hook here on his opponent, who is on the front foot, who is primed for that position, he just moves his weight back to the back foot and pivots this way, and then pivots this way. But again, giving up a massive opportunity to land another punch, right? Slipping to the front foot, even if you don't throw this as a straight left hand, slipping to the front foot and then coming back with the right hook, right? Or vice versa, if you're the orthodox fighter and your opponent is splitting your line. Again, no reason to be pivoting there. You have especially if you're the one on the front foot and you have the dominant position on the outside of your opponent. Because if your opponent is on the front foot from this position, their head is going to be so much closer to you that they're going to be in prime position to be hit with your right hook or your left hook if you're the orthodox fighter. But there's no reason to pivot from here because you have the dominant position in the ring. You're not just going to give that away to your opponent, right? You're going to use this position to feint and probe and set up your next weight transition, which is very likely going to be a straight left hand when your opponent meets you back on the line. But Marquez walks right into that right hook instead. But, again, a few more clips of what happens when you get stuck on the front foot here, right? Marquez gets to the front foot. And what happens if you stay there too long, right? Or if you try to pivot and you don't bring your weight back across the line, right? Very similar to what's going on in the drill here, right? With I can't remember this gentleman's name, but boom. Look at how long he's in that position and where his head is. He's almost in the same position the whole time, right? His head's not really moving. He's kind of pivoting back this way, but he's not really getting off the line. And what's going to happen when you're in that position against a great fighter? Well, they're going to catch you. And Pacquiao, even though Marquez is just trying to get his weight from the front foot back to the back foot, Pacquiao was able to catch him 1, 2, 3, 4 shots, all in that very, very similar motion, front foot-ish, pivot backwards, right? Now he's trying to roll. He's not really slicing his weight, the same direction, but the idea that his head is going to be in that position for so long during the course of these weight transitions is going to expose you to these kinds of attacks, especially in the orthodox Southpaw kind of style, or the way that your line matches up with your opponent. As soon as Manny Pacquiao gets pushed to his back foot, he has no choice but to return to the front foot with these attacks. And if you're not getting off of the front foot, you're going to be getting hit with big shots like this. Now, this is also one of the most famous clips of someone slipping to the outside of your lead hand as a southpaw or an orthodox fighter and really making their opponent pay for it. Notice that Pacquiao was basically dominating this fight. Even in the round that he got knocked down, he still basically won that round. But the idea is, this is a massive opportunity here, in practicality sense, to set up and land a shot. And it's a massive missed opportunity to be training and learning boxing from this style or this kind of impractical nature, right? Now, again, if you can perform the motions like his student is able to do in the clip, good for you. Fantastic. I believe that there are still some mechanical things that maybe he's not thinking about when he's going through these motions that could definitely help him with his power and his rhythm. But he looks fantastic, and he's doing everything that his coach is saying. So, he has a really great student there, and both of them actually should be proud of that idea. But anyway, from a practicality sense, the fight should be over right there, or the fight can be over right here, or the fight can be over right there, or the fight can be over right here. But understanding that each time you slip, each time you probe, each time you make a weight transfer, and you cross your opponent's line, there's an opportunity to hit them, right? An opportunity to hit them. Opportunity to hit them, an opportunity to hit them, an opportunity to hit them, right? And understanding that you're not going to be fighting people in your boxing career who are 2-6, right? For your whole career, right? You're going to have to get better. You're going to have to learn to take that opportunity, right? Not just that last one, right? So that you have rounds similar to this, where you're setting these shots up, right? You're forcing your opponent, right, to control the space with punches because maybe you're too quick, or maybe you hit too hard, or maybe you're too good of a boxer. And you're going to need to be able to force your opponents to intersect your line so you can get to the outside of them, right, and land big shots. Boom. An excellently baited shot from Pacquiao, drawing that attack to his back foot, slipping to his front foot, and utilizing this very basic motion of slipping added with his punch, right? Again, super easy to train to end the fight, you know? And it's very, very important to understand how to take advantage of all of these opportunities if you're ever going to get to the level of someone like Manny Pacquiao, right? Being able to make attacks like this in this quick, right? Cross the line. Now, Pacquiao's technique, to be honest, is not perfect here, right? Which is kind of why he's getting hit a little bit there. But still doing so many of the other things right that he's had, you know, just such an extremely successful career. But again, when you need to be able to compete with people on a higher level, you need to understand how your body weight affects your opponent's body weight, how moving on and off the line with that rhythm and tempo, and how to train those ideas so that you can quickly move off the line when your opponent intersects your line and attack them, right? And if you don't understand these types of concepts, you're going to fall into, you know, seemingly fancy traps like this, where you think that you're doing something really fancy and really eloquent and really, you know, effective, but really all you're doing is baiting yourself not only to be in a reactive state where you're waiting for your opponent to set these things up, but you're going to be trying to make multiple weight transitions in front of your opponent faster than they are, right? Or not, I don't want to say faster, but you're assuming that you're going to be able to make that many moves in front of a professional fighter, right? Or a high-level opponent, and that they're not going to have anything to say about it, right? And fundamentally, the way that he's, you know, teaching and training this motion with this many gaps and breaks for his student in terms of the rhythm of his opponent here, right? Because in theory, this is a jab, right? What's the next motion? Well, it's going to be maybe a straight left hand from the coach, right? And he's going to be attacking this position, right? Isn't he? So let's say he just throws that shot. Where is his student's head going to go? It looks like it goes basically in line for that same shot, right? But now, also in theory, because he made two moves, right? The student, he should be on the front foot here, following him, right? Now that means that when he goes to cross the line and goes this way, he's already on the front foot here. He's going to follow him back with the left hook to this zone and knock him out, right? This whole sequence of motions just doesn't really add up to a successful combination or a successful sequence in the ring in which, unless you are so much faster or better than your opponent, you're never going to be able to pull this off. Let alone if your opponent is actually faster than you. They're probably going to catch you right here. They're going to catch you right there on that pivot, and they're going to be messing you up, you know, especially if they're going to be throwing a straight left hand at this position, boom, transferring their weight to the front foot, right? And they're going to be bringing that back shoulder towards this knee here, right? Be bringing his head here, boom, and then he's going to be able to cross the line again with that left hand. Anyway, fundamentally, this drill just doesn't make any sense, and you would never want to try to attempt something like this against a fighter of any kind of real caliber, you know, unless you're fighting your little brother, you know, it might be a little fun. But anyway, if you're interested in learning about some of these ideas, transferring your weight, pivoting, the correct way to use and manipulate your weight in front of your opponent, or you're interested in learning how your weight, I guess the best way to say it is, in the beginning in boxing, your goal is to learn how to control yourself and your own body. So if you're learning and you're in that zone where you're looking to just get into boxing and just learn how to pivot and move and transfer your weight and throw punches, we have tons of drills and stuff on Patreon. A lot of my patrons have been very happy with their progress. I have been too. They're awesome. It's a great community. And if you're looking also to get better at fighting, learning how those rhythms and those tempos and how to push your opponent off of their line and draw them back in, setting traps, very similar to Manny Pacquiao, right? In the way that he uses his jab here to set that rhythm up, to walk Hatton into this shot. That's the second part of learning to be a great fighter, is understanding how to use your body to manipulate your opponent's body and walk them into punches, right? The idea and the concept of feinting, but not just the conventional silly feint, right? Where you're, trying to sell it, right? But how to move, transfer your weight, and set shots up, and walk your opponent into your punches. But we have fighters of all kinds of levels, young and, I don't know how old it is, but, some people, I think there's some people in their 40s sending in videos and training, but all types of groups, all types of skill level, beginners, advanced, and some seemingly expert fighters, if I don't say so myself. But anyway, yeah. But for now, on Patreon, I don't know if you guys have seen this coach here. Whoops, let me turn off that sound. But I get a lot of coaching requests, and we take a look at a lot of different coaches and styles and drills, and we break down the fundamentals, and I kind of reteach and reorganize the ideas and the most important ideas for each of those drills, right? And how to build and learn and extract as much knowledge from each drill and as much technique as you can, with very, very similar streamlined rules. I think, most of the people in Patreon have been pretty happy about it. But as soon as this video is over, I'm going to be making a video, and we're going to be going over this gentleman's technique about, I think this one was throwing the 1-2. And he's trying to teach this gentleman here in the yellow. We're going to be talking about some of the mechanics here and what's going on, and using my boxing theory to kind of talk about it and break it down. And then the next video we're going to be looking at is another one of his. I can't remember what this one was about. I think this one is I don't know. I'll see again. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to check out my Patreon. It's $20 a month, $20 to join. And if you want to send in, heavy bag drills, shadow boxing, sparring drills. I'm also going to be taking a look at one of my patrons sparring his mixed martial arts coach, primarily boxing. So it's pretty cool. But we're going to be taking a look at those drills and their work together, and see how he can improve on his own boxing, his own trap setting, his own feinting and probing and controlling of his opponent, to set up, maximize weight transfer to really smash his weight into his opponent. But we're going to be taking a look at that stuff. Yeah, anyway, thanks guys.